All right. So thank you so much for everyone that is attending this afternoon for our very first Greene County Chamber of Commerce virtual series. It is Navigating Business and COVID-19. And my name is Jackie Greer, and I'm going to be your host. And on behalf of the entire Greene County Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for joining us. And so just a little bit of housekeeping really quick before we get started. We have several other people that registered that I don't see on the list just yet. So as people come in, I'm going to try to go ahead and mute everyone's microphone. And if you are not actually presenting, if you could just make sure that your camera is not active as well, that would be very helpful. And so if you have a question, up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little chat bubble there. And in that chat bubble, you can choose to message the organizer, which would be me, and you can send your question directly to me, and then I will read it to the group, and we'll give the presenters an opportunity to answer your questions at that time. Feel free at any time if you have a question just to shoot me a message there. So we will go ahead and get started. And, well, I think I lost Terry. He'll be back. Okay. Well, very good. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got two gentlemen with us on the call this morning or this afternoon. We've got Sam Young, the Director of Economic Development for Greene County, and then we have Mr. Terry Lawler, who is the President of the Greene County Chamber of Commerce. The way that we're going to run this session this morning is that we are going to allow Sam about 15, 20 minutes or so, and then we'll give him an opportunity to do a question and answer session. And then Terry will follow him to talk about the Greene County Chamber of Commerce and how COVID-19 has affected the membership and just the county in general and how we're doing business. So without no further ado, we will go ahead and get started with Sam Young. So Sam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jackie, and hello everyone. Good morning. Pleasure to have an opportunity to speak to everyone today and to be a part of the Lunch and Learn. My name is Sam Young. I am the Economic Development Director for Greene County Board of Commissioners. I am appointed by the County Commission Chairman, Mr. Gary Usry, and I report to the County Manager, Mr. Byron Lombard. Part of my duties basically to promote economic development throughout the Greene County community, to grow economic activity, to enrich the quality of life, to support smart economic development opportunities, and to progressively market our logistics, our financial, our educational, and our lifestyle resources to attract businesses and those businesses that are able to create jobs, create capital investment, and therefore grow our tax base. Also to be sustainable and to make our community better. One of the things that is a part of my job is also to support the Greene County Development Authority, as well as the county and the other cities. What's the authority? The Greene County Development Authority is a constitutional authority authorized back in 1963 and later amended in '86. It consists of 6 members, 2 appointed by the County Commission, 2 appointed by the Greensboro City Council, and 2 appointed by the City of Union Point. To be a member of that board, you have to be 21 years of age, you have to be at least a resident of Georgia for 2 years, and be a resident of Greene County for the most immediately preceding year before you're appointed. The authority is an instrumentality of the state of Georgia, and it's a public corporation. They have the ability to own and sell property, issue bonds, offer tax incentives, and enter into agreements that promote the purpose that they're created. And that purpose is to develop, promote, and expand for the public good and general welfare, business, and trade within Greene County. The authority owns the Greene County Industrial Park, which is located on South Main Street at Stewart Parkway, which is just across the street basically from Atlas Ministries, right before you get to the Greene County High School. And the authority is, of course, responsible for maintaining and upkeeping that park, and does so with a budget provided by each of the jurisdictions. And we have lots available there now for any interested industry prospects. Be happy to talk to anyone who might be looking for a location to start their industry. Some of the ways that the County Development Authority in promoting economic development is to be an advocate, to market and promote economic development projects within the county, be they residential, commercial, or industrial, or any other type. And I serve as the point of contact for the state of Georgia Department of Economic Development, our utility partners, and other state agencies like the Georgia Department of Community Affairs or the Georgia Department of Labor, with new potential projects that are seeking sites or buildings that might want to locate here in Greene County. Most importantly is the work we do to support our existing businesses in Greene County. What we call that is business retention and expansion, BRE for short. We spend about 80% of our time doing work just with our existing businesses and industries and community businesses. Helping them doing business, helping them retain keeping them here in Greene County, and helping them expand right here in Greene County. Helping to negotiate all the rules, regulations, and the processes of state and local government necessary for them to expand, to develop their operations, and to take advantage of tax incentives and tax credits that might be available to them. That's essential to our support for those existing industries and businesses. Wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening over the last 4 years here in Greene County. We've had some pretty unprecedented growth and expansions going on in the county. Over the past 3 years, our overall Greene County, the gross real property tax digest has grown by $271 million, or about 17% over that 3-year period. About 92% of that is in the unincorporated portion of Greene County. In terms of residential development, that's about 75% of our tax base in Greene. Obviously, that's a key piece of our tax base and our economic growth. The valuations submitted for just in unincorporated Greene County for building permits over the last 4 years, and this is for just new residential permits only, new residences only, not remodels, pools, anything else like that, or any commercial, was over $442 million. So that's pretty unprecedented run of permit and building activity in our county. The residential property in and around the lake area has been growing significantly over the past 4 years. The last time I measured the number of houses or asked for information about the number of houses was the end of 2018. At that time, we had about 3,300 new homes, completed homes inside just our gated communities. Today, I've checked on that just in the past week, and we have 3,573 plus or minus homes in our community, gated communities that are already completed. That's a 6.4% increase. In addition to that, we have another 139 under construction right now. Most of those being in, a good many of those being in Reynolds, Harbor Club, and Del Webb in particular. In terms of industrial and commercial development, I try to keep a running tab of what the type of capital investments and the new jobs that are coming from commercial and industrial developments within the county. And since 2017, I had identified about 31 completed projects that are currently under construction, or those that are fully confirmed and in the planning stages and ready for development in terms of commercial or industrial projects. That's about $126 million in capital investment. And we estimate that about 288 jobs were created from those projects. Some of those that I would highlight for you would be upcoming is our Novelis plant modernization and expansion that they have planned. We hope to see them break ground on that and start construction this fall. That's a $36 million project. NIBCO in the last 3 years has finished an $8 million 50-employee distribution center expansion that enabled them to relocate their distribution and to manufacturing capacity. Pipe, they've built a new blending tower and expanded their capacity for production. That was an $8 million project, and they've added about 6 jobs there. Piedmont Water is currently under construction with a new water treatment plant that is a $15 million project and will employ about 7 people. And without new employees, but Sol America is a solar farm business that has built a new solar farm that will supply enough power to generate electricity for 600 homes. That's being added to the Georgia Power electrical grid. Some of the hospitality and accommodation projects that we've had, everybody's seen the new True by Hilton Hotel. That's a $7 million 20-employee job. The Ritz-Carlton has added a new outdoor pavilion and has remodeled all 232 of their suites to the tune of about $7 million. And of course, most of us have seen a lot of the commercial and retail projects. The Publix expansion at $3 million with 40 new jobs. The Chick-fil-A, $1.5 million and 60 new jobs. Burger King, the Dollar General has added 2 new stores, and 2 existing stores have been replaced, and 1 new store has been added out in Siloam, and I estimate they've spent about $2.7 million on those projects. So the list just continues on. We have marina projects at both Reynolds Lake Oconee, at the Lake Club, Reynolds Landing, and Harbor Club. So there's a number of different commercial projects that we've probably all seen as driven by that are spurring our growth in the community. A couple of nonprofit projects that we've had. Lake Oconee Academy has expanded with an $18 million project for their upper school building, which is now operating and houses the entire high school. Lake Oconee Church is a new church sanctuary, and then of course Atlas Ministry has added a new facility. And going back to my point, of all these that I have mentioned, I mentioned 31 projects. Only 6 of these projects were new to our community. The other 25 were existing businesses or industrial plants that were expanding, modernizing, and growing. That's what I mean when we want to take care of what we have already, and that's the most important job that an economic developer has. To my knowledge, we've only lost 1 existing industrial project in the last 4 years. Diversified Plastics in Union Point just found the perfect building for their operations that we couldn't supply, and they have moved to Social Circle. I want to talk a little bit about our workforce. And workforce is a regional resource. It's like every other community. People are mobile. They're able to move around to find the job that best fits their skills and talents and circumstances. And if you look at the On the Map application in the U.S. Census Department, you'll see that 62.7% of the workers that working in jobs in Greene County come from outside the county. The other 37% live and work in Greene County. Conversely, of the workers that live in Greene County, 66.5% of those work outside of Greene County, and 33.5% of those obviously live and work in Greene County. So it's a little illustration to show that how much people are willing to commute to find the correct job, the best job that best fits their needs and talent. They're willing to drive, and we measure generally at about 45 minutes out. How long does it take to get to a job site or to an employer's? And people are willing to usually drive almost as much as 45 minutes. there are lots of options to choose from in that circle of area. All the businesses up in Athens, we have some new business opportunities that are coming about, are coming online shortly. The Harrison Poultry Feed Mill project out in Crawfordville, that's only a 15-minute drive. There's an Amazon distribution center going in Appling, Georgia, which is 800 jobs, and that's only about a 42-minute drive from Greene County. But Intact, which is the new hemp processing and a hand sanitizer producing operation out in Union Point, and they're looking to hire up to as many as 200 jobs. So we have some at home and we have some right around us. We try to coordinate on our workforce with the school system, with LOA and the Greene College and Career Academy, and of course the Chamber of Commerce Workforce Development Committee, to work to connect students with our local job opportunities. We do that with programs like career days, job fairs, industry field trips for the students and the teachers, and soon we're going to try a teacher externship program. We couldn't do it this year because of COVID, but we hope to pull that together next year and have a teacher externship program where the teachers get the opportunity to spend a week in each industry and learn what their expectations are, and that can be transmitted back to those students in the classroom. A little bit about the impacts of COVID-19 upon Greene County. We had reached the lowest rate in unemployment in over 30 years back in November. We were down at 3.1%. And again, that's the lowest it's been in 30 years. Workers have been and are still hard to find for many Greene County projects, some of those that we've mentioned earlier. As a result of the pandemic, the unemployment rate jumped to 10.1% back in May. That rate has gradually declined since that high point. In June, it dropped to 6.4%, and we're hopeful that it will drop again. Haven't gotten the numbers yet, but we're hopeful that it'll be lower again in July. Interesting to this is the initial claims for unemployment that we had in Greene County. We had 27 in the first 3 weeks of the month of March. And in the last week of March, it jumped to 147. And then the 4 consecutive weeks in April jumped to 1,658. And then 5 weeks in May, they had 1,370 in May. And then the claims began to start dropping back off in June and July. So in 2019 alone, we only had 401 initial claims for unemployment, and they paid out about $247,000 in benefits. This year to date in June, we've processed 4,380 initial claims and have paid out $713,000. So you can see the impact that this has had on people's jobs and their livelihoods. Many of these claims came from the accommodation and food service establishments, which we all try our best to support. Some of those locations have closed down completely for 3 months and have just started opening again in June. The second most impacted industry in those categories, the work categories, was construction. We've battled back, and thank goodness we've had only 62 initial unemployment claims this past week, and that was the lowest that we've had since the week of March 21st. We've got a resilient community, and we're working hard. All of us are working hard to bring our economy back from this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And I know we all pulled together to try to communicate with our businesses, to try to assist them all we can to help pass through this once-in-a-lifetime event. With that, I will say that that's all I have, and if any questions come up, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Sam. We actually do have some questions that have come through. One of the questions that came through was tell us a little bit about what tax incentives are available to businesses in Greene County.
Well, you have to start in different categories. There are a number of areas in the county that is a part of a federal opportunity zone where investors can take advantage of writing off some of their capital gains. There are a number of state opportunity zones, less developed census tracts. Our standard in that area is about 3,500 jobs, but those are in particular zones that are lower economic challenged areas. We have, from a local standpoint, we always try to do our best to help expedite the permitting processes, but we also, the Development Authority has the ability to issue bonds for title projects and things of this type that would help support some tax incentives and help ease people into the tax burden that they may have as they get their business started. I know one of the more recent ones that we've done is we worked with one on the True by Hilton Hotel to get them here.
Okay, thank you. Another question that came through is the 75% residential and 25% industrial tax base a reasonable distribution?
I believe it is. That is fairly common in most jurisdictions. It may be a little less than that in some. You have to keep in mind that there are other segments: automotive, motorhomes, automobiles, timber valuations, and other categories that are a part of that total too. So it's different with every community, but with the lifestyle of the lake and the desirability of the lake area, it's not surprising that we have as many homes and residential units here as we have.
Okay. And then another question was, what are some things that we as a community can be doing for some of these businesses that are experiencing hardships as a result of COVID-19? What are some things that we could be doing as a community?
Okay, I know Terry can address a lot of this because he's worked. You all have, the Chamber of Commerce has marketed extensively to try to help support our businesses, encouraging people to get out and support our first responders and support our medical staff with buying gift cards for them from the businesses for food or whatever type of things they offer. We have worked really hard to try to encourage and introduce all of them to the new opportunities that came along with the CARES Act, the PPP loans, and other opportunities that help bridge the gap. And I think I heard a number of almost $50 million worth of projects that went through in either I can't remember now, maybe the state or the county, but that was a big boost. And getting the word out to all the businesses was important for Terry and I both worked on a lot of that. But and just encouraging people to keep going to the restaurant, even if you dine outside, even if you are taking orders home or whatever and picking up at the sidewalk. Those are great ways to continue to support our businesses.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. If there are any other questions, I'd like to give everyone a moment to submit a question here. And if there are no other questions, we will move on to Mr. Terry Lawler. So we'll give everyone just a minute.
And Jackie, let them know where they could submit that question. We did get some people join after Sam got started.
Yes, so up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little chat bubble there. And if you click on that chat bubble, another box will open up and you can send a question directly to me as the organizer. And then I will read your question out to the group. Okay. There are not any other questions for Sam. Thank you so much for your time today and for all the valuable information that you shared with us, Sam. We really appreciate you joining us today.
My pleasure.
All right, so now we have Mr. Terry Lawler with the Greene County Chamber of Commerce. And Terry, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jackie. And I also want to thank Sam for helping us get this program started. This is the first one that we've ever done at the Chamber. And we decided to do this based upon input from our Chamber members, which I'll talk a little bit about later on. But I also want to thank those of you who took the time to sign on today. Hopefully you'll learn some things about our Economic Development Department and about the Chamber of Commerce and how residents and businesses in Greene County can take advantage of both of these organizations to grow their businesses, or in some instances, maybe to get some new businesses to move into Greene County. As Jackie mentioned, my name is Terry Lawler, and I'm the president of the Greene County Chamber of Commerce. I've been here now for a little over 2 years. We are located in downtown Greensboro in the old Wyatt Jail, which is directly behind the county courthouse at 102 Northeast Street. My phone number is 706-453-7592. And the Greene County Chamber of Commerce has actually been around for over 50 years, having started in 1967. And our mission is to foster a culture of business to thrive through economic, community, and leadership development. Our goal is to be the business partner with our chamber members. We have a board that consists of 18 members, and they represent the whole plethora of business interest in Greene County, from financial services, the legal industry, education, real estate, healthcare, construction, local government, public utilities, and small businesses. And each of our board members serve a 3-year term, and after that, they roll off the board. We at the Chamber are always looking for new members to join the board of directors. And so if you are interested in serving on the Greene County Board of Directors, the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, please contact me, and I would love to discuss your involvement with us. I am the only employee of the Greene County Chamber of Commerce, and I'll talk a little bit more why we do it that way. But like most small businesses, we outsource our accounting and our marketing and our social media services to other chamber members. As a matter of fact, Jackie Greer and Greer Force provides us with our social media services, and we have someone else who does obviously our accounting and then some of our other programs. But we have found that outsourcing is the most effective way and the most cost-effective way to actually run this Chamber of Commerce, which makes it, again, a little bit different from other chambers if any of our listeners have been involved in other chambers of commerce. The Greene County Chamber of Commerce has over 300 members, and they are from Greene and Putnam, Morgan, and other counties. And I tell folks that, well, it does say Greene County Chamber, but there's so much business that Sam even mentioned about that goes across county lines, that we have members who join from all of those counties and even further away because they realize the benefits of being active in Greene County and the business opportunities that they can gain from being here. Even though we have over 300 members and we have members from all those 3 counties, we still have the lowest membership rates for the basic business membership from all the chambers of commerce in this area. And we've worked real hard, the board has, to keep those rates as low as possible and still provide the level of services that our members are asking for. And some idea of some of the member benefits that we've got. If as a chamber member, you're eligible for reduced property and casualty insurance with one of our chamber members who has an insurance company. We also offer low income, not low income, but low cost group life health insurance through the Georgia Chamber of Commerce. I would say over the last year, we've probably had maybe even half of the new members who joined because of this particular benefit, because evidently the group health rates that are provided through Anthem, which is the old Blue Cross Blue Shield for small businesses, dramatically lower than what some of our businesses had previously been paying for insurance from other companies. If you're a member of the chamber, you qualify for these lower rates. If you're not a member, then you can't get these lower rates. The chamber also offers grand opening and reopen ribbon cuttings. We found that to be a very successful way of getting information out to the community about what you're doing, and we do most of those at no cost to chamber members. We also do a monthly newsletter, which Jackie and her staff at Greer Force works up for us. we have found that over time, looking at the open rate and the review rate, that sending out weekly newsletters is just not a good use of everyone's time. As a matter of fact, the open rate drops dramatically. I've even had a number of members who joined the chamber specifically ask that question of how many emails am I going to get? And they seem to be delighted with the fact that we only send out one a month to everyone, and that way they're not having their email box filled up with chamber letters. However, we are very active on social media and Facebook with postings daily, quite a few postings, and we found, at least on that area, that we do get of response through our social media versus going through our email monthly newsletter. That's not to say that the newsletter doesn't get a considerable amount of percentage that open them up, but when you look at a membership and a following of the thousands that we've got, I would actually prefer that the open rate for our social media is dramatically higher. So I think that's just a better use of our time and a better way to communicate to our members. As it relates to that, though, and I need to also mention one of the main reasons that people join the Chamber of Commerce is to have access to our mailing list. As a chamber member, you do have access to the emails and contact information to the other 300 plus members of the Greene County Chamber of Commerce. That information is not given out to anyone else. So there is an extreme advantage of using that. And obviously the understanding is that you're not going to inundate folks with stuff, but at the same time, it does give you at least a segue into discussing what your business opportunities are with other businesses located in the Georgia Lake Country. The Chamber has 4 committees, and we provide input to the board of directors through those 4 committees, and they meet as an as-needed basis. Those 4 committees are the ambassadors, who help with events. Obviously, very few of those going on right now. Membership value, which is an opportunity. We talk about what things can be added to the benefits for our members to make your membership in the Chamber of Commerce even that much more useful. The Education and Workforce Development Committee, with Bobby Hildreth as the chairman of that. And you heard Sam talk a little bit about the externships program that we're working on with Greene County high school teachers and LOA teachers and Nat Greene teachers. That's just one of the programs that we're doing through the Chamber of Commerce through that committee. And the Public Affairs Committee, which is chaired by Susan Powers. And I'll talk a little bit more about the work that we do in the public affairs area. As I mentioned earlier, the Chamber of Commerce purpose is to serve as a business partner for large and small businesses. And we have activities that are driven by the large and small business members that meet their interests and needs, and not a cookie cutter. All chambers have done it this way, so we're going to do it this way in Greene County. We set up our activities to relate to what you as our chamber members want us to do, and not ask our chamber members to fit into some cookie cutter program. I like to say we're sort of a concierge chamber, if you will. And some examples of the things I've mentioned earlier, the ribbon cuttings that we've done. Just last week, we did a grand reopening for the Restore for Habitat for Humanity. Posted it all on social media. They had over 1,000 comments made, or followers made on that posting. We did one for 2 of our businesses that were located behind the Publix, and that went on. Bend the Trend was one of them, and I never can pronounce it, even though my wife works there, Mio Giolo, and they had got on the front page of the Breeze. Again, that was at no cost to either one of those. It's just what they received as a chamber member. They asked for some help, and we made it happen for them. We also update, as I mentioned earlier, through the Public Affairs Committee, our local leaders on national, state, and local legislation that impacts business. And I think folks will be surprised at the number of public policy issues that do impact our local businesses. Everyone knows we're dealing with the census right now, Census 2020. Greene County has one of the lowest response rates in the whole state of Georgia, and the chamber is working with the library to try to get computers out in some of the more rural areas of the county so people can go and fill out the census there, because it has a tremendous impact on revenues for the county for the next 10 years. Highway 44 expansion, don't need to say a whole lot about that. Everyone is very familiar with that. That's coming down the pike. The chamber's been very active and communicating what the needs of the community are, and we'll continue to do that as we go through the next 3 years of the construction of the widening of 44. Just last week, the Chamber sent out a notice to businesses about things they can do to limit their liability from potential lawsuits related to COVID-19. I went into a business the other day, and sure enough, there was that notice in the size print that needed to be, that was required by law, that was in their business. Again, will help protect businesses from any potential lawsuits related to folks who may claim that they got the coronavirus by visiting your business. Short-term rental legislation has been discussed for a number of years at the legislature, which have, at least as written, would have a very negative impact on Greene County, and the work that our commissioners have worked really hard to come up with something that everyone seems to think is reasonable, but as number two, but it's locally driven, not driven by someone in Atlanta. And whether you like it or dislike our short-term rental ordinances here, at least we have an opportunity to make changes or input at it. And if it goes to Atlanta, we won't have that opportunity. And one of the other training programs we did earlier in last year is we did a session to advise people the changes in the personal property tax filing requirements. Had a good turnout for that, and I think folks were able to work with our county tax assessor to begin to file out those personal property tax returns that are so important to our tax digest. We also do training with the University of Georgia. You may have seen another thing that went out on Facebook this morning about the free programs that are done by the University of Georgia Small Business program up there. We at the Chamber realize that there are a lot of training needs in the community, but we may not have the number of people to set up a training program, but the University of Georgia does quite a few of these, and they do them for free. And so that's a great way for our small businesses to get training at obviously a very reasonable price. One of the things we've also done, probably the most exciting thing we've done in the last year and a half, is we now award a Business of the Month and an Employee of the Month. It's a surprise to every business and every employee who receives that, and we encourage folks to send their nominations into the Chamber of Commerce, getting out and letting folks know that they're appreciated by the people who do business with them, and also the employees know that with their hard work, it is being recognized, and it's been extremely successful, and businesses continue to talk about how much it means to them to be recognized for the hard work that they've done in the community. The other thing that we do in terms of a sponsorship is the Chamber is the primary sponsor for the Youth Leadership Greene program. And that is the best of the best juniors from LOA, Nathaniel Greene, and Greene County High School. And they spend most of their junior year going around the county learning about leadership and the programs that are being offered in the county, the businesses, the agriculture, the educational, the public safety, all of those programs in the county. And these are going to be our future business leaders. And it's been extremely successful. They always, unfortunately, don't have as many slots as the students who apply for them, but we've been glad and very fortunate to lead that program for quite a few number of years. We're thinking about trying to get that program up and going next year for adults. There was one a number of years ago, but it has kind of dropped out over time. But now there seems to be a more interest from our members to have that, so we're going to start doing that. Yeah, we're also here to help your business grow. Sam has mentioned the stuff that he does with economic development, more on the industrial side and some large businesses. I get calls daily from restaurants, realtors, other small businesses wanting to know what are traffic counts on the road. We're thinking about expanding. What's the statistics for personal income? Is this a good place to locate? I've done videos even for some of the realtors in the county that they use to advertise for reasons to move to Greene County. So again, the Chamber is here to do what we can do to help you grow your business. We try to send that pro-business messages out to everyone. We also do welcome packages for all the communities. If you've got folks that are moving here or you are interested in moving here, we can send out welcome packages to you also. So Jackie, I think that kind of gives an overview of what the Chamber does. I think the most important thing to remember here is that the Chamber is only as effective as what the members want it to be. We're not going to sit here and do programs just for the sake of doing programs. We want to do what our members want us to do. And that's why I encourage our Chamber members to contact me, contact Jackie, let us know what you want to see done, and we're here to make it happen. Okay? Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. And excuse me. And I think some of the things that also that the chamber does for the members is, if there's a member out there that has an event coming up or anything like that, you can email hello@greeneccoc.org, and that email will come to us, and we can make sure that we add that to our calendar of events. We can cross promote businesses through social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well, LinkedIn, Pinterest as well. And so we want to cross promote businesses. And I think if we as a county can do that, different businesses and give those little shout outs when you have a great experience. If you go to a restaurant and you enjoyed your meal there, that you promote those businesses, then we can together really make an impact and help each other out during these times. So does anyone have any questions for Terry regarding any of the programming at the chamber? Any questions specifically regarding business and COVID-19 and maybe how the chamber is navigating that? We'd like to give you an opportunity to ask those questions.
Jackie, let me add too that our county has been very fortunate during this pandemic to survive where we're at. Our home building is back to where it was pre-COVID-19 levels of activity. Sam kind of shared some of those statistics with you. The restaurants that are still open, and I don't think I've heard of well, I've got one restaurant that closed, but they closed actually before the COVID got started, have all been able to do extremely well. I heard some retail businesses the other day that said they've actually doing better now than they were last year. They are seeing some people actually coming out doing Christmas shopping now because they can't do anything else. So that has helped too. That doesn't mean that it has not hurt. I know some others, especially on the retail side, have been some very challenging months. And we're trying to find ways, again, to increase that exposure. As I mentioned with being the trend when we were on the front page of the Breeze magazine, a newspaper. I do know that some customers have come into some of those businesses and said, I saw you on the front page, didn't know you were actually down here, want to look at the products that you sell. So again, that's where the chamber, as you mentioned, either through social media or these other platforms in the county, that we can get that information out that we are still in business, we're still here for you, please come by and visit.
Yes, absolutely. And we want to support the local businesses. And so we, as a chamber, we can't come up with promotions for you and your own businesses, but if there's anything going on in your business, we can help you communicate that message. And so again, we just want to encourage you to send that information to us, and then we will push it out throughout our outlets as well. Okay. Well, we are right at about 45 minutes into this meeting, and so if there is not any other questions or comments, then we will go ahead and wrap it up. We do appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. Sam, thank you so much from Economic Development for your time, and Terry, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And we will post this video for a replay. Give me 1 second. It looks like I do have. Oh, thank you. I don't think we have any other questions. So thank you so much. We'll go ahead and end.
Jackie, yes. Jackie mentioned the fact that we've got 4 more programs for the rest of the week.
Absolutely, yes, we do. We have 4 more programs. We'll meet you guys again here tomorrow at 12. There'll be another email that will go out. We had some complications. I don't know if a lot of you guys have seen, but Zoom actually is having some technical difficulties nationwide. And so we apologize for not getting this link out earlier, but tomorrow we will send out the link for the remainder of the week. And so be on the lookout for that, and we will be sure to get that information to you.
Great.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, and we will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.